I've had offers from other networks. SBS3, you heard of them? I'd be out here by now, but I kind of feel bad for Jack. He's just tested positive.
All right, we're on in 5. You good?
Yeah, mate, I'm good to go.
Cool.
Yep. HIV, they reckon.
Good evening and welcome to The Forecast, the show where we bring you news before it happens. I'm Jack Kearney. Tonight, we're predicting couples in confinement will only get crabbier under the counsel of Dr. Lovestick, police officers will be forced to soften their touch, and Lollipop workers will be investigated for suspicious worksite activity. Hear all the details in an all-new Oracle exclusive. But first, before we dive too deeply into the week that will be, let's revisit all we got wrong in the week that was, with the retractions. I'm joined now by The Forecast's resident fact checker, Professor Cornelius Winterspoon from the University of Technology, Sydney. Professor, you spotted a few factual inaccuracies in our most recent broadcast.
Well, that's correct, Jack. We flagged a number of boo-boos, and in the interest of journalistic integrity, you will have the chance to retract those now.
Let's hear it.
Now, firstly, you made a slew of frankly slanderous predictions aimed at a wonderful British vacuum retailer. Now, I don't know where you get your intel from, but I do a fair amount of hoovering around the house myself, and I have never had any pressure, sexual or otherwise, from my Dyson vacuum cleaner.
We were referring in that story to Justice Dyson Hayden. He's been accused of sexually harassing...
Second of all, last week you predicted that my good friend John Howard would propose changes to the Gay Sailors Trust. Now, I wasn't even aware that the Navy had such a trust.
Sorry, Cornelius, are you referring to our prediction that Howard would recommend raising the GST?
Precisely, Jack. Now, I have spoken to John personally, and he has assured me that he will not make any changes to the trust, and that some of his best friends are gay sailors.
Right, but...
Now, finally, you suggested that the viral testing that the government has put in place in schools is inefficient and ineffective. Is that true?
Well, I think that the data shows...
Is that true?
That's correct.
For the last time, the available data suggests that the NAPLAN testing is the most advanced...
And I think we'll leave that there. For couples in confinement, the last few months have been an opportunity to scrutinise their compatibility, often to damning results. We're predicting that will only continue as couples continue to employ the services of a certain self-certified romance guru. Walter Widebottom has more.
It's been a long few months for couples like David and Julie.
Julie and I are great. We're great. I just think when you've been in a relationship a really, really long time, you forget what it's like to really try. And I think that's where we're at.
I'm not even sure I liked him pre-COVID. He's been very insistent, especially with the couples counselling. Even said we could make it his early Christmas present. Anyway, I went on Gumtree and I found this bloke.
Deep breath in.
This bloke is Dr. Irvine Lovestick, a self-certified love and romance therapist whose unconventional methods have grabbed the attention of troubled couples like David and Julie.
Romance is my craft. Some people say that I'm not qualified to tickle the strings of love's sweet symphony. But to those people I say, grrr. I'm going to show you both now a series of abstract images, and you just tell me what you see in the images. We'll start with you.
I see a lot of space.
Look closer.
I see myself floating through the stars, free of fear and worry.
Oh my.
Soaring.
Oh, sweet Julie.
Soaring aback a winged Pegasus.
Horse.
What?
A Pegasus is already winged. I am a little bit more well-versed than most people because of that intensive 6-week Greek mythology course I took. Do you remember?
Not to worry. David will try you now. Remember, there's no right or wrong answers. What do you see?
I see a lot of nude men.
David, could you give us a moment alone, please?
Sure.
Julie, I'm sorry to have to be the one to tell you this, but it seems your husband is a homosexual.
He's not my husband.
But he is a homosexual.
I just feel so guilty. I've stolen her best years.
We've been dating for 4 months.
So, how do you want to do this? Dinner?
Love him or hate him, you can't help but marvel at this unorthodox approach.
How do you want to do this? Cash or card?
Walter Widebottom, The Forecast.
I can also accept cheque payment.
It's time for a traffic report now, and the Oracle joins me live outside Sydney Children's Hospital with some exciting news.
That's right, Jack. We have another cracking week of bumper-to-bumper traffic, climaxing with a couple of massive head-on collisions in Sydney's west on Friday. We've got a 17-car pile-up. I'll spare you the details.
On a lighter note though, Oracle, I can see you're outside the hospital there and you've got some really heartwarming news to share with us all.
Yes, well, the first collision involves a semi-trailer and a woman on a Segway.
Sorry, Oracle, I'm referring, of course, to the birth of your second child not an hour ago, a gorgeous 3.5 kilogram boy by the name of Raphael. Your wife and you must be so chuffed.
Well, that's got nothing to do with head-on collisions, Jack.
Well, no, of course, I wasn't insinuating
And quite
that
frankly, it's none of your business.
Sorry, we'll just move on then.
I think so.
Great.
Unless you want to talk about head-on collisions and people losing lives.
Cops, they've been scrutinised, analysed, and will next week be advised to utilise a slightly more empathetic and lighter approach to their work. This is how that goes down.
Bill Eggshed. I'm Officer Desmond Hopstep, no relation. I'm afraid I've got some bad news. It's the wife, Bill. She's been in a massive car accident. A 17-car pile-up in Sydney's west. Look, I'll spare you the details, but what I will say is she's got no feeling inside her bones because her spinal cord was completely severed in the crash. Now that in itself is horrible, but throw in the fact that she had a really massive heart attack. And well, you probably don't need me to say it, Bill, but Bill, we lost her. I'm sure you had fond memories together. First date, that first sweet bowl of ice cream you both shared together, that first beautiful dance at your wedding. Oh, it's just unfortunate that she's never gonna dance again the way she danced with you. I'm so sorry, Bill. I really didn't mean to do that. I just got caught up with all the emotions, you know, and the sax. God, the sax? Jesus. What was I thinking? The sax was just way too far. I don't know. I've got to go. Good night. Who was that?
No idea. Reckon he had the wrong house.
You can see why they took him off traffic. If you've ever been in a moving vehicle, chances are you've seen one of these. But have you ever wondered who they are and where they come from? Well, the Oracle has, and he has some questions.
That's right, Jack. Since the dawn of time, the Aussie battling breadwinner has been a staple on the construction site. Hard-working, disciplined, and physically outstanding. I'm predicting that by the end of 2020, this type of work will be a thing of the past, and nowhere is that more evident than in traffic controlling, or lollipopping, to use the more affectionate term. You've all seen them, these reasonably attractive, beer-guzzling Irish women. But how are they doing it? Are they here legally? And is this just another example of the Aussie worker copping a kick in the proverbial balls? Apologies, Jack, I did say these women are somewhat attractive. I'm here with Ashley. Do you prefer the term lollipop lady or lollipop person?
Lady.
You miss home? You're homesick?
No, I live here.
That's an unusual accent you have. Is that West Country? All right, let's see some documentation. Visa, white card. Where is it?
What?
I know your dad was a convict. Between this and your OnlyFans account, do you have any other sources of income?
No, that's it, mate.
So how long you been working with Poles?
Sorry? It's a stick.
Poles?
Excuse me?
Polish people? Or do you just exclusively work with Irish?
What?
Racist. Is this the hardest you've worked for $50 an hour?
Are you serious?
Have you done other things? Are you drunk right now?
Is it obvious?
Have you had anything to drink?
Oh, just a milkshake before.
Yeah, milkshake. Can I have a go? Was it difficult doing a 2-day course of wrist movement? As a hard-working Lebanese Australian, I'm actually affronted. Being an Irish immigrant, did you have to quarantine for 14 days before you took this job?
No.
What makes you think you can just swing over from Ireland and take the hard-working Australian jobs?
What?
I'm going to shoot a couple of words out of a cannon for you now. Just tell me the first thing that comes to mind. Bender?
Trauma?
Hot plate.
No idea.
Major feature.
DJ.
10-leg multi. You're a disgrace. It's unclear at this stage whether these Irish workers are aware of what they're doing or whether they're just willfully ignorant. How many destroyed lives at poorly communicated intersections will it take before we realise that these potato-munching, inebriated, Conor McGregor-loving duds just aren't up to it? It's not my place to say, Jack, but I, for one, won't stand for it. Back to you in the studio. So, what are you doing tonight?
Get the f away from me.
You're not Irish.
Sorry about that, a rare lapse in professionalism from the Oracle. To finance now, it's time to find out what market movement we can expect in the week to come. I'm joined by part-time weather guru and full-time economist, Mr. Samuel Sadface. Sammy, thank you for joining me.
I must say, Jack, after my display last week, crashed. You can do some terrible things for a 50, Jack. My wife was Japanese. I'm quietly surprised that you've let me back on. So thank you.
Glad to hear you and your wife are working things out.
We're going through an amicable separation.
Right, well, I won't mention her again.
Perfect. Strictly business. Let's talk some turkey, hey?
To that now, and gold is firming as an investor-friendly favourite once again. Any idea as to why that might be?
Same old story, Jack. Superstitious investors. They really want to get their hands on a tangible commodity that they can rely on in these turbulent times. In the case of a sudden downturn...
You mean a
crash?
Yes.
Precisely, Jack. Traditionally, gold will maintain its value, in the short term at least.
What about in the long term?
Nothing lasts forever, Jack.
Well, that's true. I suppose it's only a matter of time before it all comes tumbling down.
Sure.
Moving on, several mining stocks on the ASX closed poorly overnight.
Mining. My wife loved mining.
Did she?
Couldn't get her away from the stuff. Oh, she'd spend half her weekends down at Circular Quay watching those weirdos perform for a few bob.
Do you mean miming?
Could not drag her away. And the day I stopped trying is the day she ran off into the arms of a silent stranger.
Yes, you definitely mean miming. I'm asking about the mining, which is an
Last I
entirely
heard, she
different...
ran off and joined a Turkish circus. Turk du Soleil, I believe they call it.
That's not a thing.
You know, Jack, it's funny. One moment she's your loving wife. She's the mother of your children. And the next she's a tent-hopping gypsy.
Can we edit that out?
I used to make coin.
Coyin?
Real coin. I was a hot shot trader. Now all I do is sit around looking at charts and graphs, trying to explain myself to these closet gay newsreaders, as if they understand what I'm talking about. You know what it's like, Jack. You're married, aren't you?
I am, yes.
What's her name?
It's Hermione.
Gorgeous name. British name. Gorgeous.
It's definitely Greek.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. But you know, everyone just calls her mine. It's no secret that businesses across the country are looking to increase their diversity for the multitude of benefits that a varied workplace brings. Diversity is such a big thing that next week several applicants will realise it's not the only thing.
Before we begin, I just want to congratulate you on getting this far.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Well done for selecting me.
I want to stress while diversity is important to us, it's not the only thing that's important to us. First question, what would make you a great sales assistant?
Well, I have a Vietnamese kid.
That's not really relevant, is it?
Well, he's not technically my kid. I just watch him sometimes.
Here's the deal, Macca. I have what you'd call an extensive range of authentic Aboriginal artwork.
Landscapes?
Self-portraits mainly.
I'm Jewish.
You don't wear the little hat?
As I said, Jewish.
I have a prosthetic leg. Titanium alloy.
Well, the last guy actually had a...
Prosthetic hand.
I have a prosthetic penis.
I'm actually just after your qualification.
2 prosthetic penises.
I'm actually transitioning at the moment.
Between jobs, or...
Nope.
I've got this rare skin condition which means I have to wear a rash shirt even when I'm at an indoor pool.
What's the condition called?
Chunkyitis.
Well, I've got an unhealthy
Addiction to.
The song Red Red Wine by
UB40.
Red, red wine.
goes to my head.
I've got a gay cousin.
I'm not going to tell anyone.
Well, ex-cousin. He died.
I'm really into ethnic cuisine.
Such as?
Well, I haven't tried that one, but I am developing a North African palate.
Oh, really?
Haven't eaten in days.
Walked right into that one.
I have a master degree in business.
You're hired.
Thank you.
We're going to cross live now to St Andrew's Primary School in Melbourne's southeast, where the Victorian Government's Junior Deputy Assistant Medical Advisor, Dr. Dick Foote, is about to address the media.
Good to go? Okay. Allow me to be quite clear. The situation is out of control. The health of our constituency is paramount. So I'm going to say this one more time, and believe you me, it will be the last time. The canteen will be open for lunch orders between 8:30am and 9am. Do not attempt to lodge a lunch order outside of this window. Pizza rounders are a treat that should be had no more than once a week. It's been brought to my attention that some of our at-risk students, and by at-risk I mean the little chunky tub-tubs, have been having more than their fair share. The same goes for cheese on toast, Sunny Boys, and chicken crackles. Ovaltinis are a bullshit waste of everyone's time. They taste like a dusty arse crack, so stop ordering them. I won't say it again. Finally, it's been brought to my attention that a protest has been organised by some of our Lebanese, Greek and Italian students who have formed the All Aussie Food is Dog Shit and the fucksticks that actually eat that shit need to be shot alliance. Details of the protest will be put on the student notice board. I will urge you all to attend. Now, to the freshly laid stacking allegations against the Student Council.
It's time now for the weather, which is ordinarily read by Samuel Sadface. However, I'm told that he is currently on a leave of absence to deal with some personal demons, so we've replaced his entire job with a simple graphic. Take a look. Sorry about that, we've thrown to the wrong graphic. Try this one. It's time for sport. I'm joined by Sydney Morning Herald Chief Sport Reporter, Mr. Andrew the Fever Febstar. Fever, thanks for being here.
Evening, Jack, and what a splendid evening we have before us.
You've got a piece on the back page of the Herald tomorrow, is that correct?
Bang on as always, Jack. I've given the guys an advanced copy here. Sausages, not the only thing on the menu in Sicily this summer.
What the hell does that mean?
Jack, in a Fever exclusive, I'm predicting that an Italian superstar striker this July will be traded from SSD Palermo to Juventus for a record 700 million euros.
I'm sorry, did you say 700 million euros?
I said 700 million euro, Jack.
And the sausages part?
Oh, the Sicilians are going to eat him alive, Jack. You don't let a player of this high caliber go without repercussions. He's going to be one hot sausage.
Feels like a long bow. I don't know if you can call that a headline. What's the point of this?
Ooh, ra-ta-ta-ta.
Look, Fever, we're running out of time. Can you guarantee me that this prediction is accurate?
It's a good sauce, Jack. It's a phenomenal Fever sauce.
Because, you know, last week...
Oh, come on, Jack. Don't bring up last week.
Well, it's just some of our viewers complaining
No. You know what, Jack? I don't have to put up with this. I have a stellar record. I slipped up once for doing that Dylan Alcott impression, which I apologised for as being tasteless, in spite of its accuracies. And yet you and your viewers were all over me like a pissed uncle at Christmas.
What Dylan Alcott impression?
Maybe it was on a different show. Oprah, perhaps.
Who's the player being transferred?
Benito Mussolini.
The fascist dictator that died in 1945.
The very same.
Sorry to butt in, Jack.
Not this bloke again.
I couldn't help but notice that you've got the fever back on the program. I thought it might be a good time for me to throw a few sporting rumours off him, if that's all right with you.
Look, I just don't know if we've got the time.
We've got time.
Can you speak to rumours that Paul Kent is set to play game 2 of his NRL career in cover for the injured Mitchell Moses?
I don't know if...
You got nothing on that, Andrew?
It's a simple yes or no answer.
What about
No, it's
rumours
not.
that Ash Barty is set to make a code switch from tennis to Taiwanese parkour?
I'm actually great friends with Ash.
No, you're
It's
not.
definitely not true.
What about rumours that your office flatulence has become so offensive that they've permanently relegated you to a desk in the car
Hang
park?
on, who told you that?
Everyone,
I
mate.
can smell you from here.
Because quite frankly, mate, you're a revolting individual.
Come on now.
You revolt me. And I don't understand how you still have a job here at the Forecast when you're clearly not even qualified to run coffees for the people that work for you. You creep.
Andrew, Andrew, he's gone. He's gone again. Like hot goose fat through the fingers of a thin... I can smell the fart. It's actually in my nostril. That's the end of our broadcast this evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Enjoy the weather while it lasts. Be careful if there are 16 cars in front of you. And if you're having trouble at home, we think it's best to speak to a qualified therapist. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the forecast.
So, what are you doing tonight?
Get the f away from me.
You're not Irish.